Hi there. In this video, we are going to continue with our OSPF troubleshooting like we have done in our previous videos as well. So in this scenario, we are going to come across a different sort of OSPF problem which usually people face while troubleshooting the OSPF network. So let me introduce quickly the topology. So this is a very similar topology to the previous lab. We have R1 and R2 connected with each other. We have a switch in between. Both of these routers are in OSPF area 0. The interface IP addresses are mentioned over here. We will go ahead into the SSS session or the console session of both of these routers, and then we will try to analyze what the problem is. So let us go into the console of these routers. So usually what I do is that I don't go directly into the show run. So you might have seen in my previous labs that I try to troubleshoot things step by step so that the concept behind troubleshooting is more clear to each and everyone who is watching this video. So let's look into the topology, and we will first start by doing the ping. So we will see that the IP address on the remote side is 10.10.12.2. So I am going to go on the router 1, and then from the router 1 I will try to ping the remote IP address, and then we will see that how our ping is working. So here we go. Okay, so the first thing I am going to do is like ping the remote router. Yeah, so the ping is successful when I ping. So the local IP address is show IP interface brief. So my local is 12.1. 12.1 is pingable. 12.2 is the remote IP address. So if I do ping the 12.2, that's also pingable. So it means that the IP reachability is already there. So in case if you have seen our BGP troubleshooting video, you might have noticed that while troubleshooting the BGP, we also do the telnet to see if the remote TCP port is reachable or not. In case of OSPF, we are not using TCP protocol. OSPF is going to use something like protocol ID 89, which is not a TCP protocol. So we cannot test using the TCP port test as we used to do in BGP. So we cannot do that test, but we have many other show commands in case of OSPF. So for example, I have show IP OSPF neighbors. So I'm going to check. Okay, so it doesn't show us any OSPF neighbor. I have another interesting command which is the show IP OSPF interfaces. So if I do show IP OSPF interface, it will show you all the interfaces where the OSPF is running. So now here is the first output. Let's look into this one. So the loopback is up, line protocol is up, that's good. And then we see the another interface which is Ethernet 0. So this is the interface where we are having the neighbor connected. We can see the IP address over here is mentioned. Another important thing is the network type. We see the network type configured on this interface is point to point. There is an option of going show run and checking the network type, but I will take you via the show command so that we can explore more things. Now over here we can see there are like stuffs like topology MTID. Now the topology MTID is something which is actually, it means something like multi topology ID, or yeah, multi topology ID, which we don't like. So multi topology ID MTID, this is the cost on that link, which is 10. Now the disabled is whether this topology is disabled on this interface or not. Now means that it's active. Shutdown is the admin state, whether it's up or down. Topology name is actually means that the name of the topology. Base actually means default OSPF topology. Usually these lines are not much used in troubleshooting. The more important thing is the network type. You see point to point over here. The other thing, you will see the OSPF timers. We did a lab on OSPF timers as well. So these are the OSPF timer. We can compare it with the other hand also. A network type we have to compare with the other end. There are more things over here, like when is the next hello timer expected. You see the adjusted neighbor count is 0. So the other side neighbor is not up. So let's do the same commands on the other side. Show IP OSPF neighbor. I don't see the neighbor coming up. Then I will do show IP OSPF interface. I will directly put the interface number. So that's the another option for show IP OSPF interface. So for example, we have like we can even terminate the command at show IP OSPF interface. That's enough. But then it will show all the interfaces. Like over here, it was showing the loopback interface as well, and then the Ethernet interface. So if I want to reduce, or if I want to simplify my output, I will simply put the interface directly over there. So it will be show IP OSPF interface Ethernet 0. It shows the IP address, which is exactly what we were expecting. So I'm just keeping both of them side by side. Then we see over here the network type is point to point. Over here the network type is point to multi-point. So this is definitely a different. Now OSPF, if you have recall from the theory, it has different type of network interfaces. Uh, so on one side we have point to point, other side is point to multi-point. Both the ends needs to be the same type, otherwise the neighbor relationship will not be found. So we can change either one of the sides. Point to multi-point usually are being used with the uh, with different type of network. For example, when we have one neighbor connected to multiple like one interface connected to multiple neighbors, and so in this case I think the best idea will be like we can configure, we can go to config terminal, and let's try on this on the R2 router. We are going to change the network type, so we will make it like point to point over here as well. So let's change it point to point. Once we make the point to point, we see that the OSPF has loaded, has went from the loading into full state. So in OSPF, full is considered as the working state. So full is what we want to see. So if I go to show IP OSPF interface again right now, I will give the complete command ethernet 0/0 so that I can only see this interface. Now over here we see the adjusted neighbor count is once because the neighbor relationship has formed. It also tells us the router ID of the neighbor 1121, which is the loopback IP over there. And yeah, so the neighbor relationship has finally been being formed. Okay, now another way to check is show IP OSPF neighbor. So we will see that the neighbor has finally gone into the full state, which is what we were trying to achieve. So let's now, this topology, sorry, this lab has been done. So this was troubleshooting the OSPF type. I have more options, like more troubleshooting session. So let's move to the next troubleshooting session. I am surprised. Only 18% of the viewers who watch this channel have subscribed. So let's not wait and hit the subscribe button.